What's up YouTube, this is Gresnick, and welcome to another video. Today we are reacting to We Were Wrong About Golden Freddy Again by Withered Circle and Narrow Raven. That's their names, I'm pretty sure, right? I hope I should have pronounced those correctly. Well, they made this FNAF theory, and it popped up on my home screen, so I went, okay, guess I'll react to this. So, as always, like and subscribe to these people and myself. Comment down below anything you want me to react to or how you're doing. I will most likely respond. And let's get into the video.
The infamous yeah, we're not doing this bit. You know who Golden Freddy is, I know who Golden
Yeah.
Freddy is, everyone knows who Golden Freddy is.
Freddy
This
shows
character has been
Bear.
the biggest mystery in the FNAF franchise for over 10 years at this point, and that's no secret. Every installment in the original era felt like it was hiding a small shred of evidence to explain him until he completely disappeared in the modern games. But this wasn't random. I think that the answer to all the weird meta hyper-paranormal chicanery Golden Freddy has been getting.
You know, the one thing I find weird about Golden Freddy is he kind of just disappears after FNAF 1. I mean 2. He's in FNAF 1, he's in FNAF 2, he's not in FNAF 3 to my knowledge. I mean, FNAF 4 has Nightmare Fredbear, but that isn't technically Golden Freddy. He isn't in Sister Location, and he isn't in Pizzeria Simulator, which honestly, feel like he should have been. Golden Freddy should have been in Pizzeria Simulator. It would have kind of just made sense. And then, yeah, he's an Ultimate Custom Night. But then after that, he just doesn't exist. Which makes sense because Afton's kind of dead, so we don't really need Golden Freddy or Cassidy anymore. It makes sense, but we still don't have a good answer for this completely.
Up to since his inception has been right under our noses for years, but no one ever managed to put the pieces together for one simple reason.
I mean, yeah, he's in
We
the FNAF
fundamentally
movies.
misunderstood the nature and purposes of Golden Freddy. So today, I spoke with fellow fierce Narrow Raven, creator of the infamous 14 Theory, to determine the true nature of Golden Freddy, the dark secrets of Ultimate Custom Night, and most importantly of all, if we actually solved the mysterious lore of the Yellow Bear. Oh, and we talked about Bear a little bit. Let's
Why?
go. Hello everybody,
Why do we
it's
need to
me,
talk
Withered
about
Circle, and I'm
Bear?
here with a very special guest. Go on, and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Nail Raven. I'm the goober who found and made 14 Theory, and I've been kidnapped by Withered Circle to be here today, and I'm excited to
Fun.
talk a little bit.
Yeah, to those of you watching, I hope you watched my last video about Bear, because that's kind of what this video is about. This is like me elaborating on that video. Because
Well, I didn't
basically what
watch it,
happened
so you're gonna have
is
to.
14 Fury is super like important to Ultimate Custom Night and the FNAF lore and everything. And so me and another creator, Gibby's Horror Homestead, found a huge piece of evidence for Fredbear, Thread Bear, which is my theory for Bear, in like 14 Fury like terms. So I wanted to discuss it with the man himself, kind of talk about, you know, 14 Fury and its meaning and impact on the story and so on. So my first question to you actually is, can you like explain 14 Fury to those who are uninitiated?
Okay,
do.
so 14 Theory, there's a lot that goes into it, so if I do recommend watching the video, but essentially the long story short is that in Toy Chica the high school years, there's a locker, the number 14, the only one that's slanted with the number 14. When you go and plug that into the UCN roster, it comes up with Golden Freddy. And then Toy Chica is covering the 15th locker, and well, the 15th character in the UCN roster is Springtrap William, and obviously the whole funny Toy Chica is William Often. And essentially there's like 14 cutscenes, the 14th being Golden Freddy, and a bunch of other stuff that just correlates to Golden Freddy as a character and his importance to Ultimate Custom Night. And
I mean, yeah,
that's
obviously,
essentially
it's
the
important
whole
to
theory. It's just a
Ultimate
lot of these connections just interworking with each other to point to, hey, look at Golden Freddy for the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, which is, I think 14 Fury is what, for me, cemented that the Golden Toy Shank has to be true. Because when 14 Fury came out, 14 Fury was like, what? December 24?
I think it was
Something
How have I
December
never heard of this?
27th, 2023.
I've never heard
I
of
think,
this
or
theory
2024,
before.
one of
It's
the
2
two.
years
No,
old.
it was 24. It was 24 because 23 was.
Was it 24?
Yeah, it was 24 because 23 was before TD's time. It was the OG era.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, because we found that on T-Dread stream. I say we, but it was you. I wasn't even there. I was supposed to be there, I think, but I didn't.
Yeah,
but I
you were
didn't.
supposed to be there, but you didn't show up.
I missed it out on everything because we had that big like over analysis series, and I only made it to the one where we didn't find anything. Now that we've gone over the basics of 14 theory, it's time for me to talk about my theory, Fredbear, PH, like Fred as in Fred, you know. Yeah, fun, very clever, I know. It was given by a commenter, actually, I really liked it. So, basically, Fredbear is the theory that Golden Freddy's kind of underlying motif in the main, like the core FNAF series, so FNAF 1 through 6, is that he will actively change his appearance and follow the player character, whether that be Michael Afton or whoever, throughout these locations, changing his appearance to blend in with the cast around him, and kind of following the Aftons around and investigating and kind of, I guess, trying to hunt after William specifically, and failing up until FNAF 6. Which is why between FNAF 2 and FNAF 1, Withered Golden Freddy turns into Golden Freddy, even though no one would have any reason to fix him, right? There's no reason to fix Golden Freddy. They wouldn't use him for interaction.
Yeah.
That's why you have
That's
these
a good
weird
way to
characters
explain
like
that.
Phantom Freddy being called Golden Freddy in the files, if you think that's applicable.
Oh,
Or
interesting. I didn't know
Nightmare
that.
Fredbear, or Yendo in Sister Location, and finally Nedbear. Again, watch the original video, just like you should watch 14 Fury. I'll link both of them in the description,
I'll probably
probably.
check them out
I
after this
recommend you
video
watch the
to
full
decide
video because
then.
it has all the evidence there. But Nedbear says some very interesting things in UCN that could potentially confirm a stronger connection to Golden Freddy and Toy Shink and whatever. So after the video, we did a little stream, me and Gibby, to discuss the theory and so on, and we actually ended up finding some new connections linked to 14 Theory. Raven, you remember what I sent you, right? That one time.
Yeah, I
that
do
one
remember what
time.
you sent me. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, we found out that if you count 14 backwards from the end of the UCN roster, so remember, if you count from the beginning, you get Golden Freddy. If you count 14 backwards from the roster, you get Nedbear. Nedbear's head is also slanted in an opposite direction from the rest of the mediocres, which is really interesting. And I kind of wanted to ask you, Raven, if you considered Nedbear at all, because you said you already noticed it. Did you consider Nedbear like in any sense while making 14 Fury or in the follow-up videos to 14 Fury?
In the beginning, I did, but the only reason I didn't really say much was just because of the fact that I didn't really have anything that supported anything with Nedbear, but it was like something I have thought about but never found anything with.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. A lot of people say that 14 Fury is kind of outlandish because Scott would never think of that. But I genuinely don't think so. I think it would be really clever. The only question for me is why the number 14 specifically. I forgot. Did you come to because our running theory at the time, when in the first weeks, was it's the amount of kids William killed, which would be I guess 5 MCI, 5 DCI, Elizabeth and CC if you count them, and Charlie and Andrew or something. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. But that's kind of not so solid, especially since Andrew got nuked.
Yeah.
So, I do think 14 Fury has a lot of merit to it. Even though people treat it like a joke, sometimes I do feel like there is something very strong to it. I believe in the concept of 14 Fury as an idea. What I don't understand is how does everything line up so conveniently? So I kind of... I wanted to ask you what your thoughts on 14 Fury are now, I guess over a year after the fact, if you still kind of fully believe it holds merit, I guess.
I do still think it holds merit, and when I've looked at okay, why the number 14? Why is it the number 14? I got no clue. I've thought about, okay, if it is 14 victims, we know that Scott was more than likely planning things like Help Wanted the Mimic storyline, so maybe it was meant to be the 14, deaths in the franchise that are important from what we're going to see and what we've already seen. But even then, that's weak. It's like, it's something you'd have to ask Scott and dive into his mind specifically, I feel like, to actually know why 14.
Well, speaking of asking Scott, we did, and he said 15 in response.
Yes.
Do we think that's anything important, or is it just him being, like, silly and saying the opposite of what everyone else was saying in chat, since everyone is spamming 14?
I think it's definitely some, because TD was like, please, Scott, say the number 14, and he probably, Scott being the troll that he is, said 15, but
15.
it's also like, he just disappeared afterwards, so I don't know, but I'm not gonna assume that Scott meant something by it unless he did elaborate on it or reference it again, but he hasn't even referenced it since, so I think it was probably him just being a troll.
I don't know, I feel like you could have said 13, that's the thing, which is why, and 15 being important to 14 Fury. Like, at the time, I was like, oh, Twitchik is William Afton. Which, in recent times, there's been a debate around that. I think there's, like, ways to interpret it, especially now, earlier today, as of the release of this video, like, a day ago, or 2 days ago, or whatever, I don't know when I'm finishing this. Earlier today, Pinky Pills was asked to release concept art of the most important character in the FNAF franchise. And she released concept art of Toy Chica from Toy Chica the high school years, right? We were talking about this earlier. Which to me makes it really, I think this is really strong, like 15 Fury, I guess. 15 Fury evidence that Toy Chica is William Afton, because William Afton is the only reason that anything happened, I guess. I think there's different ways to go about it, for sure, with Toy Chica the high school years. And one thing I've been thinking about recently in regards to Nedbear is why, you talked about this in the follow-up, was it the locker theory? Why Pig Patch specifically is the last victim. Could you, like, give a refresher on that? On Pig Patch and those cutscenes?
So, with all of those cutscenes, so, if I remember correctly, there's 7 of them. I believe there's 7 of them. And not the last one, but I think it's the 6th one where Pig Patch is, like, the next victim or whatever. I looked through, like, the different characters and stuff like that, and obviously, like, Charlie is obviously the puppet. And then I think it was, there's Funtime Foxy, there's Freddy, and Toy Bonnie, which would be the spirits for them. There's Wolf, which is very similar to what happened with Susie, so that would leave Pig Patch to be our vengeful spirit character, because that's the only one left out, and stuff like that. But then I also later brought up something where, like, there's a victim already there, that story is never told, and that could have been our vengeful spirit, and then Pig Patch was Cassidy or something like that. So it really goes into assumption land, but I do think it's, like, a cool idea.
Yeah, especially now, like, with the Pinky Pills thing I was talking about just now. Pinky said that every detail, like, in the Toy Chica high school years cutscenes is important, was very specifically said by Scott to be placed there. She didn't pick these animatronics. A while, like a long time back, I made a theory that Andrew got stuffed into Pig Patch since we knew so little about him back then. Now we know he's dead and was never real. Sorry, T-Dreads.
Or Andrew.
But I made a theory back then saying, oh, Pig Patch is the Toy Shink because Andrew is Toy Shink. I don't believe Andrew is Toy Shink anymore. Which brings us to the most interesting topic of the day that I really want to talk about. Which is the fact that I'm very personally anti-BV Toy Shink, but you're very, like, pro BV Toy Shink. You said you're open to new ideas. I am too. It's just I don't like BV Toy Shink because I'm picky. I am also open to new ideas. I'd like to think I'd recovered from Tales games pretty quick. I went through my entire trauma cycle, my depression cycle in like 5 seconds on stream. It was really funny, but I kind of want you to basically lay out some groundwork for BV Toy Shink in like a minute, and then I'll say like what I think about Cassidy Toy Shink after that, which is what I believe, and then I want to talk about Nedbear a little bit more.
Boy.
So
go
ahead if you can.
All right, cue the Jeopardy music. So, BB Toy Shink in 1 minute. So essentially the reason with BB Toy Shink is obviously one, Golden Freddy being important. We know that Bite victim was killed by Fredbear, who later becomes Golden Freddy. Alongside with that, the hook that's representative of the very first victim from Toy Chica, the one that never gets explained. Crying Child or Bite victim technically died by a Foxy character, which Michael's represented by Foxy, wore Foxy mask, all of that stuff. Some of the voice lines throughout like FNAF 6 for Mold Freddy seems very personal to Michael, like One Big Happy Family, Thanks for Letting Me Join the Party, and a few other ones I'm probably blanking out on. and a lot more other stuff that I'm also blanking out on, but there's more evidence to it than that, but that's just what I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay. I'll do my Cassidy Twitching speed round. I will add the Jeopardy music if I don't get copyright strikes, so. So Cassidy Twitching. Very, very simple. Golden Freddy is the center of Ultimate Custom Night. Like, he is the character that we keep being, pointed at. And Golden Freddy, we know, is possessed by at least one spirit. And I believe that he's possessed by two, which is Crying Child and Cassidy. I see Cassidy as this more kind of vengeful spirit, literally. So I see Cassidy as that because I believe Cassidy was spring-locked in the Golden Freddy spring-lock suit during June 26, 1985, during the MCI. We have evidence of this in, I guess, like Curse of Dreadbear, although some people say that's about Bite Victim. I disagree. It could be both, but I personally think it's more about Cassidy. In Curse of Dreadbear, like Security Breach, the Tales books, I guess you also have this in like Ultimate Custom Night itself, with the Old Man Consequences ending and drowning in the Red Lake and whatever. And Cassidy also has this kind of looming role, like this background role across the entire franchise, always being this like mysterious spirit. You know, we've got the grave in FNAF 6, you've got the word search in the logbook, always kind of present but not like directly in the story. And I see Cassidy as someone that could be the Toy Shink. Admittedly, there's problems of this, there's problems of every Fury, but that's kind of the basics of Cassidy Toy Shink. One thing that I don't like about BV Toy Shink, this is probably honestly my only issue with BV Toy Shink. I have two issues with BV Toy Shink, but my first one is that Toy Shink stands for the one you shouldn't have killed, and William didn't kill Bite Victim unless we say that he pulled the plug on him on night 6. Is that your belief? I'm not up to date.
No, I have a completely different belief. I don't think he pulled the plug anymore. That's what I ran with it, like, once I started thinking BV Toy Shink, but later on I thought it was something completely else.
Is that capable to be revealed, or did I just forget and you already said this? The second option is probably more likely.
Yeah, so I have said this. I said this in the follow-up video with the Curse of Dreadbear one, where we put a brain into Dreadbear. I do think in some way it was more of a resurrection thing, but it was kind of like a rebirth and death for Crying Child in a way, because there's a casket there in that like Dreadbear level, and then you're putting a dead brain, giving it, colors, electricity, shocking Dreadbear to life. It very much feels like whoever Dreadbear is, which is like a play on Fredbear.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's very much related to a dead brain, which is very much Bite Victim, so I think it has something to do with that.
Yeah. No, it's like I was saying, like, you've got the Cassidy, I don't know what the series is called, Cassidy Drown, Cassidy Springlocked, whatever. I say, like, we have evidence for that in Curse of Dreadbear, but it could apply to Bite Victim as well. There's very strong Bite Victim imagery there, like, birthday cake, just like the nature of Dreadbear and like installing the brain in him and whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's very Bite Victim, but I think it's also very Cassidy. So my second issue with BV Toy Shink is we get like 2 examples of Bite Victim's character in this franchise. The first is FNAF 4, where, he's a whiny crybaby, I guess. And the second is the logbook, where he's also kind of a whiny crybaby. He has a bit of agency, like in FNAF 4, like the only times he speaks is like, let me go, get me out of here, whatever. But how do you kind of explain Bite Victim becoming more vengeful against William specifically, who is his dad, who I guess...
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
We don't
Cassidy
know if
does,
he'll
because
anger
he
against
actually
him.
killed her.
I feel where that mainly comes from for me is Bear Vengeance, where it's one character that is normally nice, but this other character, which is Foxy, keeps kind of just being a jerk, so he keeps trying to get back at him, and it never works, and then he gets punished and things like that. And some of those punishments do kind of line up with what happens to Crying Child throughout FNAF 4. Don't ask me the exact lines. I don't remember them anymore.
I remember there was one about a frog, but that's all.
I think it's something more like that. Yeah, it's the things that Foxy says towards the end. I know it's those specifically, like how he describes the punishment. And essentially, it's like, what makes me think it is that Crying Child would be kind of like vengeful towards Mike for always just being really mean to him all the time. But Mike saw it as just, oh, well, Crying Child keeps trying to get back at me for pranks. He's being a jerk, so I'm just going to prank him more and more. But obviously, where's William at? He's never run. Plus, Crying Child's frontal lobe got been, which it does help with short-term memory. Long-term memory is a little different, but short-term memory, your frontal lobe helps with a lot. So getting that crushed and, you know, bit off possibly, it's definitely going to mess with that moment of where Crying Child died, and who knows where that could have fled, especially with Andrew in the books, where he's like, I don't know why I'm vengeful towards William. I just know he did something, but I don't remember what.
Yeah, the Andrew thing is a good point. I think there's... it also makes sense for Andrew to be a bite victim parallel, because we were always saying, like, oh, Andrew's Cassidy, but Andrew is a lot more similar to bite victim. And Cassidy has a kind of, like, caring role,
Yeah,
I
well,
guess,
bite
in,
victim would just
in the logbook.
be like, oh, well,
I could be BV
I know
Twitching.
Mike
I don't
will do
really...
something.
I'm not too objected to it. It's just those main issues are kind of what has me doubtful, skeptical, I guess. That's kind of what prevents me from going there or dedicating to it. And so
Yeah, that's completely valid too.
my final question for today is simple. The question's simple, the answer isn't. Why do you think Toy Shink speaks through the mediocre specifically, and only 3 of those mediocres in particular?
I have thought on that so hard, and I have not been able to really get a good decision on it, because it's like,
Yeah.
well, they appear in Secret of the Mimic, and then we just never see them again until FFPS, and like, if it's Cassidy, it doesn't make sense. If it's Bite Victim, it doesn't make sense. Like, it would have to be someone who's seen them. It's like, what is the Vengeful Spirit Stan? So I think it would have to be like, they're obviously older animatronics. So the oldest character, which I believe MCI like 85, still not 83, but I still could see 83.
Yeah.
Bite Victim would be a lot earlier, so they'd have the higher chance of seeing the mediocre melodies and possibly learning of like how Stan's budget tech and all that stuff got it, possibly. But I'm not 100% sure. It's weird.
No, yeah, that's valid. I think it's like the biggest headache from UCN. I kind of am happy with my solution right now. The solution I have at the moment is, like in Happiest Day, right, you've got these mediocre melody adjacent characters, and they're all wearing these masks very similar to the mediocres, except for one, he's this like blue character. And so that blue character is actually very similar to the lemur from MCM. And Ned Bear doesn't appear a single time anywhere in Secret of the Mimic. He's the only mediocre that doesn't. And so Ned Bear replacing this lemur, I forgot what he's called, like lousy lemur or something, I don't know. But him replacing this lemur,
it was something lemur,
and becoming Cassidy's vessel for communicating in like with the spirits, maybe in FNAF 6 or whatever, because this is kind of Molten MCI Alteress, where Cassidy separates herself from the other characters. That would kind of make sense that she would then communicate through the mediocres. Why Orville and Happy Frog specifically, I don't know. I guess Happy Frog is the leader of the group, and Orville is like the deluxe animatronic or something. But like Mr. Hippo and Pigpatch don't have Toy Shink voice lines, which is really weird. I mean, Mr. Hippo's weird and Pigpatch has his own intricacies. But
Interesting.
that's my answer. It's not foolproof, it's not perfect, but it's about all I have.
The one thing I do want to say about your theory that I loved a lot is because in the more recent 14 theory that I did, I talked about like how the Vengeful Spirit seems to have been through every FNAF game. The only part where you and I differed was I thought the Vengeful Spirit would have been Molten Freddy because of Bite Victim and like the family voice lines, where you took it the Cassie route and pointed out the Ned Bear stuff, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Do we have any like final thoughts before we end it off?
Honestly, just I loved your theory a lot. When I've thought about it more, I've warmed up to it a lot more. And it's definitely something I probably will be using in the future of 14 theory if I ever touch back on 14 theory again. And of course, make sure y'all check out Withered Circle's previous Ned Bear video and check out 14 theory.
Absolutely, yeah. 14 theory I think is like probably like the best modern FNAF theory. I think of our space, like our little community that we've created, 14 theory is the best. Because it's cool, it's really cool narratively. It was really cool to find it, and it's been really fun discussing it over a year that we've had it now. And like participating in those videos was really cool as well. And yeah, spamming 14 and now minus 14 for Nedbear has been really fun, and I'm glad that we've managed to find a way to view farm. Thank you, Raven. You boosted my views a lot.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks a lot for coming on. Really appreciate it. And yeah, go subscribe to Narrow Raven. Watch 14 Fury. Watch all the 14 Furies. There's like 4 of them. That'll be your next evening sorted.
Oh no.
So yeah. Back to my outro segment that I hope I have made.
Interesting, yes. Strange theory. Could be true. You just need to figure out a concrete reason for 14, and then honestly the theory could probably fall better into place. Well, anyways, good video. As always, like and subscribe to these fantastic people. And myself, comment down below anything you'd want me to react to, or just to say something, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.